Добрый день, дорогие друзья! Мы продолжаем изучение юридического английского языка в рамках курса Legal English in Use and in News. Дорогие друзья, изучение иностранного языка – это сложная и кропотливая работа, и многим студентам требуется дополнительная мотивация. Мы надеемся, что просмотр следующего видеофрагмента убедит вас в том, что изучение языка – это не впустую потраченное время, а возможность стать частью мирового сообщества.
Let's talk about manias. Let's start with Beatlemania. Hysterical teenagers, crying, screaming, pandemonium. Sports mania, deafening crowds, all for one idea: get the ball in the net. Okay, religious mania. There's rapture, there's weeping, there's visions. Manias can be good, manias can be alarming, or manias can be deadly. The world has a new mania, a mania for learning English. Listen as Chinese students practice their English by screaming it.
Change my life! I want to change my life! I don't want to let my parents down! I don't want to let my parents down! I don't ever want to let my country down! I don't ever want to let my country down! Most importantly, I don't want to let myself down! I don't want to let myself.
How many people are trying to learn English worldwide? 2 billion of them. In Latin America, in India, in Southeast Asia, and most of all in China. If you're a Chinese student, you start learning English in the 3rd grade by law. That's why this year, China will become the world's largest English-speaking country. Why English? In a single word, opportunity. Opportunity for a better life, a job, to be able to pay for school or put better food on the table. Imagine a student taking a giant test for 3 full days. Her score on this one test literally determines her future. She studies 12 hours a day for 3 years to prepare. 25% of her grade is based on English. It's called the Gaokao, and 80 million high school Chinese students have already taken this grueling test. The intensity to learn English is almost unimaginable unless you witness it.
Perfect! 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 I want to speak perfect English. I want to speak perfect English. I want to change my life.
So is English mania good or bad? Is English a tsunami washing away other languages? Not likely. English is the world's 2nd language. Your native language is your life, but with English you can become part of a wider conversation, a global conversation about global problems, like climate change or poverty or hunger or disease. The world has other universal languages. Mathematics is the language of science. Music is the language of emotions. And now English is becoming the language of problem solving, not because America is pushing it, but because the world is pulling it. So English mania is a turning point. Like the harnessing of electricity in our cities or the fall of the Berlin Wall, English represents hope for a better future. A future where the world has a common language to solve its common problems. Thank you very much.
Этот видеоурок будет посвящен теме институты и факультеты Национального университета Одесская юридическая академия. Check your pronunciation of the words and word combinations. Prepare specialists in law with emphasis on obtain a post, receive qualification, local and central authorities, represent the interests of international private companies.
Once more, prepare specialists in law with emphasis on obtain a post, receive qualification, local and central authorities, represent the interests of international private companies.
Repeat after the teacher. Prepare specialists in law with emphasis on obtain a post, receive qualification, local and central authorities, represent the interests of international private companies.
Once more, prepare specialists in law with emphasis on obtain a post, receive qualification, local and central authorities, represent the interests of international private companies.
And I'll repeat and remember the translation. Prepare specialists in law
Готовить специалистов в области права
with emphasis on
с акцентом на
obtain a post,
получить должность,
receive qualification,
получить квалификацию.
local and central authorities,
Местные и центральные органы власти.
represent the interests of international private companies.
Представлять интересы международных частных компаний. Once more, prepare specialists in law
Готовить специалиста в области права
with emphasis on
с акцентом на
obtain a post,
получить должность,
receive qualification,
получить квалификацию.
local and central authorities,
Местные и центральные органы власти.
represent the interests of international private companies.
Представлять интересы международных частных компаний. And I'll give your translation of the words. Prepare specialists in law
Готовить специалистов в области права
with emphasis on
с акцентом на
obtain a post,
получить должность,
receive qualification,
получить квалификацию.
local and central authorities,
Местные и центральные органы власти.
represent the interests of international private companies.
Представлять интересы международных частных компаний. Once more, prepare specialists in law
Готовить специалистов в области права
with emphasis on
с акцентом на
obtain a post,
получить должность,
receive qualification,
получить квалификацию.
local and central authorities,
Местные и центральные органы власти.
represent the interests of international private companies.
Представлять интересы международных частных компаний. Give your English translation of the words. Готовить специалистов в области права.
Prepare specialists in law
С акцентом на
with emphasis on
получить должность,
obtain a post,
получить квалификацию.
receive qualification,
местные и центральные органы власти,
local and central authorities,
представлять интересы международных частных компаний,
represent the interests of international private companies. Once more, готовить специалистов в области права,
prepare specialists in law,
с акцентом на,
with emphasis on,
получить должность,
obtain a post,
получить квалификацию,
receive qualification,
местные и центральные органы власти,
local and central authorities,
представляют интересы международных частных компаний,
represent the interests of international private companies. And now let's practice. I'm a student of the Faculty of International Legal Relations. The faculty prepares specialists in law with emphasis on international law, European Union law, and comparative law. Graduates can obtain posts in local and central authorities, represent the interests of international private companies and firms, as a corporate lawyer, and others. To receive necessary qualification, one has to take the full course of study that lasts 5 years.
Once more, I'm a student of the Faculty of International Legal Relations. The faculty prepares specialists in law with emphasis on international law, European law, and comparative law. Graduates can obtain posts in local and central authorities, represent the interest of international private companies and firms as a corporate lawyer and others. To receive necessary qualification, one has to take the full course of study that lasts 5 years.
Check your pronunciation of the words and word combinations. Legal support of foreign economic activities. Legal regulation of land ownership relations. Judicial authorities. Gain knowledge and skills. Represent interests of persons and entities.
Once more, legal support of foreign economic activities, legal regulation of land ownership relations, judicial authorities, gain knowledge and skills, represent interests of persons and entities.
Repeat after the teacher. Legal support of foreign economic activities. Legal regulation of land ownership relations. Judicial authorities. Gain knowledge and skills. Represent interests of persons and entities.
Once more, legal support of foreign economic activities, legal regulation of land ownership relations, judicial authorities, gain knowledge and skills, represent interests of persons and entities.
Repeat and remember the translation. Legal support of foreign economic activities.
Юридическое сопровождение внешнеэкономической деятельности.
Legal regulation of land ownership relations.
Правовое регулирование отношений собственности на землю.
Judicial authorities.
Судебные органы.
Gain knowledge and skills.
Получить знания и навыки.
Represent interests of persons and entities.
Представлять интересы физических лиц и юридических лиц. Once more. Legal support of foreign economic activities.
Юридическое сопровождение внешнеэкономической деятельности.
Legal regulation of land ownership relations.
Правовое регулирование отношений собственности на землю.
Judicial authorities.
Судебные органы.
Gain knowledge and skills.
Получить знания и навыки.
Represent interests of persons and entities.
Представлять интересы физических и юридических лиц. Give your translation of the words. Legal support of foreign economic activities.
Юридическое сопровождение внешнеэкономической деятельности.
Legal regulation of land ownership relations.
Правовое регулирование отношений собственности на землю.
Judicial authorities.
Судебные органы.
Gain knowledge and skills.
Получать знания и навыки.
Represent interests of persons and entities.
Представлять интересы физических и юридических лиц. Once more, legal support of foreign economic activities.
Юридическое сопровождение внешнеэкономической деятельности.
Legal regulation of land ownership relations.
Правовое регулирование отношений собственности на землю.
Judicial authorities.
Судебные органы.
Gain knowledge and skills.
Получать знания и навыки.
Represent interests of persons and entities.
Представлять интересы физических и юридических лиц. And now give your English translation of the words. Юридическое сопровождение внешнеэкономической деятельности.
Legal support of foreign economic activities.
Правовое регулирование отношений собственности на землю.
Legal regulation of land ownership relations.
Судебные органы.
Judicial authorities.
Получать знания и навыки.
Gain knowledge and skills.
Представлять интересы физических и юридических лиц.
Represent interests of persons and entities.
And now let's practice. Students of any faculty or institute of the National University of Odessa Academy of Law do their best to become good specialists in their field of interest. For example, the graduates of Faculty of Civil and Economic Justice can provide legal support of foreign economic activities as well as legal regulation of land ownership relations. They can be employed in judicial authorities or work at notary offices. Faculty of Advocacy graduates gain knowledge and skills in legal, economic, socio-political, and humanitarian aspects, which is necessary for work in law firms and legal consulting firms to protect rights and represent interests of persons and entities.
Once more, students of any faculty or institute of the National University Odessa Academy of Law do their best to become good specialists in their field of interest. For example, the graduates of Faculty of Civil and Economic Justice can provide legal support of foreign economic activities as well as legal regulation of land ownership relations. They can be employed in judicial authorities or work at notary offices. Faculty of Advocacy graduates gain knowledge and skills in legal, economic, social, political, and humanitarian aspects, which is necessary for work in law firms and legal consulting firms to protect rights and represent interests of persons and entities.
Дорогие друзья, как вы смогли убедиться, изученная лексика дает вам возможность рассказать о специализации, специфике работы ваших факультетов и институтов, перспективах их развития. А вот предложенное вам видео покажет, какие перспективы дает изучение международного права. Итак, welcome to the Netherlands and see you next time.
Three years ago, I had the great opportunity to come to a summer school in Utrecht. And in that occasion, I absolutely fall in love with the city, with the fact that most people in the city are very young because they are students. And that gives a very good environment to the city.
The law is really a technical thing, so you take a principle and you apply it to the facts. But international law is a field of the law that is related really closely to international relations, to politics, to many other fields of studies, and I like this variety.
So our master is multidimensional in the sense that we cooperate with other disciplines. So it enriches the students' experience and they're able to contextualize international law in a broader perspective. We offer two tracks, one in human rights and one in law of the sea and environmental law, and these tracks are closely related to research institutes at Utrecht University, and researchers who are associated with these institutes also teach in our master.
I decided to come to Utrecht University because of the law of the sea track. There are not a lot of places in the world where you can study the law of the sea. And also, the Netherlands is well known for being good with public international law because of all the international organizations in The Hague and everywhere in the country.
Our classes were very connected to practical issues, to the reality, to what's going on outside. Most of the teachers worked at some point in international law firms or in international organizations, and they always try to enrich their class with their knowledge.
And of course, we also have very good contacts with institutions in The Hague, like the International Criminal Court, the International Court of Justice. As we have very good contacts, we see that many of our students can actually land an internship there.
We were also always constantly being invited to conferences and to different lectures and seminars where you could research those areas of international law you are passionate about.
While our master is an academic master, we also train students in very practical skills. And to this effect, we organize a moot court. They will write memorials and defend those memorials orally in actually two different courses.
Mr. President, honorable members of the court.
These practices are really challenging because we need to adapt to the bench of judges we have in front of us. It develops different abilities to think quickly, to also answer questions, and to be able to talk about the law.
The very good thing about this master is that as an international student, you don't only participate in things that are organized by the teachers, but also by other students. They organize dinners, trips, and even a career day. A great opportunity for you, as a student, to participate and have contact with possible future employers.
I'm currently working for the Defense Office of the Special Tribunal for Lebanon. I really enjoy working at the tribunal because I'm doing what I have been trained for. I carry out legal research on international criminal law and human rights issues. I get to draft legal memos, and also I very much enjoy working in an international environment.
It is great to be with students from all around the world, so you get different perspectives based on everybody's background and where they are from.
The fact that there's people from different countries of the world has also a very practical side, because it allows you to build a network with people from different world, and the most likely scenario is that those persons are going to be working in different international organizations, so you will have that portfolio that you got from your masters in the Netherlands around the world.
I like the country's vibe and also Utrecht's vibe, so I would like to stay here maybe a little bit longer to experience it experience the Dutchness. Can I say that?
After I finish my master, I would like to get a job in a non-governmental organization. I have a big wish or desire to help people, to try to bring peace to places where peace has not been in many, many years. So I think international law it's a mechanism, it's a shield to protect the people and protect their rights and their interests.